right. Well, you're listening to Jim Cornette.
You can't always get what you want. But if you sometimes you'll find you get what you need.
That's right. It is funny that that's the song Trump plays at his rallies to this day. You can't always get what you want, but you'll get what you need.
And one question off the top of my head, why does Mick and Keith allow it? You would think they could do something about that. Secondly, what the fuck is this idiot thinking? You can't always get what you want, but here's me, you know. Fucking goof. That's kind of like, do you remember Russ McCullough?
Yeah, he was in OVW.
Russ McCullough, that was his nom de plume, his nickname, Big Russ McCullough, and his nickname was Exciting as the Man. He was one of the early developmental guys, and Russ, if you're out there listening, you know, I'm sorry, but, you know, I think we've all come to terms now with that you weren't really very fucking good. But he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that from what I've been told these days. He was 7 feet tall, weighed about 320 pounds, had no muscular definition whatsoever, and was edging on to 30, but it was the early days of developmental, and they had signed him, and so we had him for a while. Then when we got rid of him, they sent him to Puerto Rico. I think he ended up suing the company for something or other. He was crying to Dutch one day when Dutch was booking Puerto Rico that he was having personal problems. I don't know but he came to me and said, please, can I use this music? This will be great. And I'll say the name of the song in a minute because that's kind of the punchline. But I'm trying to think of the group, and you'll probably be able to call it. I can't remember who it was, but it was the late night. It was 1999. It was one of those, you know, heavy metal kind of fucking grunge punk, whatever the fuck it was back in those days. The song title, and here's a 7 foot, 320 something pound, fishy pale, pudgy fucking motherfucker that is not a natural in anything involved in this business, right? The title of the song is Dead and Bloated. Do you even remember that song? You don't hear the words dead and bloated, but it was but the song was dead and bloated, and it was just the pace of it was just burdensome, just fucking dreary, no life to it. And then here comes this big motherfucker with these big canoe feet and just getting his own way and just fucking. One night we had a bar show, OVW had a bar show in Huntington, West Virginia. Our TV didn't go there, but the bar paid a couple of grand to have us bring some wrestling over, right? So since nobody knew who the wrestlers were, I said, well, this will be a good learning exercise for all the guys that are being developed. Go out there and, you know, and have cold matches in front of these people and see if you can get over. And so McCullough was going to wrestle Leviathan. Leviathan, of course, it was Batista, and Sin was there, the manager, and she'd get heat in a fucking ice flow. So I figured, okay, we'll have Russ go out, and here comes Leviathan, the big fucking heel, with the manager. They'll understand this. They'll have a nice fucking match, and Leviathan goes over. Well, I underestimated the fact that some of the people thought they were smart and wanted to jump the gun on my booking, and the complete lack of fucking presence of mind that Russ McCullough would have to ignore any of this. Since he goes out to that dreary fucking music, and he's a big fucker anyway, and he's wearing black, long black double shoulder strap top and black leather pants, and he looked heelish, even though he was a baby face. So as soon as he goes out, the people start booing him and getting on him. And instead of just getting in the ring and waiting for the heel to come out, he gets in the ring and grabs the microphone and cuts a promo on him and basically turns even heeler by cutting a promo on him. So as I'm listening to this, I'm standing next to fucking Batista and Stacy, right? I said, Leviathan, I said, go out there, hit the ring, beat the fuck out of him in a working way, and pin him. 1, 2, 3. You're now the baby face. Get over. He's what? So I had to repeat those words. Go out there, jump him, beat the fuck out of him in a working way, and pin him and get over. You're the babyface. He wants to switch heel. Now you're the babyface. And he's still droning on in the ring. So Batista says, okay. And Stacy's laughing. And Russ finishes his promo. And here comes the fucking cool music. The fucking, of the cool demon of the deep. This fucking guy looks incredible. He's got a physique like nobody else. The fucking whole gimmick. He's got the fucking, and she comes with the goddamn waving the whip and everything. And the people, they fucking blow as soon as they see him, because at least this looks like something. We got some energy coming out of here, folks. And this other guy's just been motherfucking us on the microphone. So fucking Batista hits the ring and starts swarming Russ McCullough. And you see Russ trying to start fighting back, and Leviathan ain't selling any of it. You see Leviathan talking in his ear for a second. Later on, I found out he said, Cornette told me to do this. And he just hammered him several times, shot him off, hit him with that fucking spear, hit him with his goddamn full Nelson slam finish or whatever he's using. Then boom, covered him with the fucking push-up pose 1, 2, 3. Right? And they come back, and now Russ comes back, and Russ comes back. He said, what the fuck? I said, you want to go out there and turn heel? Well, and I had to switch the heel babyface, and the babyface just got over. That's what you call getting over. The people went fucking crazy. Next time, don't book your own shit. If I tell you do a promo, do a promo. If I don't tell you do a promo, and you're supposed to be a babyface, fucking stand there and fucking wait for the heel to come out and do what you're supposed to fucking do. So... After the match, because the heels set up the ring for OVW, and the babyfaces would take down, or vice versa. But you couldn't have the heels and the babyfaces doing ring crew together because people would see. So it was the babyfaces' fucking turn to take the ring down that night. And there's the 7-foot fucking guy, over 300 pounds, biggest guy on the fucking roster, sitting in his car on his cell phone. And he had a phone back then, which showed he had a little money when I don't know why he wanted to be in the wrestling business. He had a little money. He should have kept it. But on his phone, in his car, he was kind of crying because he didn't understand. He didn't know what was going on. And all the other boys are, where's the fucking giant to help us tear down the ring? So we pretty much tried to get rid of him as quick as we could.
You mentioned that he was 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. And I'm fascinated by the fact that of all the wrestlers, all the contemporary wrestlers that you would quote on this show, you somehow quoted Enzo and Cass, who I didn't even think you'd ever actually seen.
Actually, I saw it on the internet because somebody asked me. Apparently he does a great promo, but he does the same promo every week. Yes. Is that what the deal is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, everybody says he does a great promo, but he does it every week. And so I clicked on the thing and watched it. I'm like, well, maybe this is a different promo, because I didn't think that was that great of a promo. And if that's what he does every week, but no, you can't teach that. That's not like he invented that, because it's been a phrase and talked about in the wrestling industry. Maybe he invented those 3 words put together in that specific way, but no, every time you find somebody that's a physical fucking freak, you go, well, he's 7 feet tall. You can't teach somebody to be 7 feet tall, or you can't teach somebody to be 300 pounds. You can't teach somebody how to goddamn be able to jump, 10 feet or whatever. Denny Crum, the University of Louisville basketball coach, always said, which I liked to quote in my wrestling recruitment. I don't want guys that can play basketball. I want guys that are 7 feet tall and can jump. I can teach them how to play basketball. Well, I don't necessarily in a wrestling school need guys that can work. I need guys that have the athletic ability and the intellectual capability to be coachable and teachable, and we can teach them how to work.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it he does a good promo versus it's something I've always hated in wrestling. I hated when the Road Dogg did it. I hated when Conan did it. They do the same promo each time, and the fans chant along with them. They say the entire promo from beginning to end because they all know it. And then, they fall asleep during the match.
Well, then they're not listening to it. They're just they're playing along with it, but they ain't listening to it. It's not selling any tickets. Oh, I know this one.
Right. And that's why I liked when The Rock would sort of do that, and then he would stop and pause and look at them and say, this isn't sing along with The Rock. Do your own thing.
Yeah, cross them up a little bit. Right. Well, I'm glad I don't have to do that, because of all the promos that I've ever given, I don't think I've ever said the same thing the same way twice. I may have used some same punchlines, but since you would have to memorize, instead of having an idea of what you're going to say or the story you're going to tell, you would have to memorize what you're going to say to ensure that you say it the same way every week. And I would not be able to memorize something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of too many with you. I mean, you always did the ring introductions. One that's always a favorite. I don't even know why from Mid-South is when you introduced the Midnight Express as being lean, mean, slick, and quick. That one always stuck with me. But the only thing I can think of that you repeated maybe more than once was when you would call the Rock and Roll Express a couple of Valley girls, Muffy and Sissy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, and I would use the same material, or you'd use the same punchline, or you use, especially on ring introductions. Here's the men that rank right up there with arthritis and polio as one of the 3 great cripplers. But that's lines. I'm talking about an entire promo. It's always, even if, and when you think about it, go back and watch Rodney Dangerfield on the Tonight Show. Just do it, because why not anyway? That's the greatest thing in the world to watch. But he's using the same material, but it's always in different order because he knew he had his repertoire of one-liners. It was like Maury Amsterdam, Buddy Sorrell, the Human Joke Machine. He knew a million one-liners, but he could rattle them off, give him a subject. He'd give you a joke or whatever, but they never came in the same order, and they were always punctuated by, and that's why the Q&As. It's like being a night for me, instead of going out and doing a one-man spoken word show, the Q&As are you're a fucking nightclub performer speaking to the audience. And that's why all of them are different. Even if sometimes they want to hear the same story, all the stories are told differently because you're reacting off a completely different bunch of people. It's reacting differently to you. And maybe while you're telling a story, you're blistering the one guy that you've decided to make fun of because it's fun for the people to listen to. So all those stories are like, you're not just going out and playing songs off of a sheet of music. You're kind of improvising.
It's like when Dice used to do the nursery rhymes, and eventually the entire crowd would do it along with him. And we see how that ended up.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, listen.
Hickory dickory dock.
Do you have a favorite Dice nursery rhyme?
God, I used to, for like a year, I was like everybody else, I could do all the shit. And then I actually have an Andrew Dice Clay gold record hanging on the wall in my office.
Reuben.
Yes, and it's not because I was either a fan of Andrew Dice Clay or because I had in any way contributed to the success of the record. But Reuben had one laying around. He said, because I mentioned Dice one time. I didn't know that Reuben did his record. And everybody mentioned Andrew Dice Clay at one point for a year. And he said, yeah, I've got one. He sent it to me. He had one laying around because they did so because it's a present from Rick Rubin, who produced the record, rather than because it's Andrew Dice Clay and he's on the record. That's why I'm displaying it. But nevertheless, I digress. Hickory dickory dock, this chick was sucking my cock. The clock struck 2, I dumped my goo and dropped her off at the next block.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That's probably the only one I can still do.
I always liked one of the ones that didn't get a lot of attention, like, Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick got a lot of attention, Hickory Dickory Dock got a lot of attention. I always like, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Shine upon the parking lot as I eat my girlfriend's twat. Hey!
Hey, little Bo Peep, I fucked her.
No. Oh, yeah, wait. Yeah, I guess that was that one. Which one was, he needed the money?
Little Jack Horner. Was that Little Jack Horner? I can't remember. One of them needed the money.
A lot of people in Mother Goose's Kingdom were fucking and sucking and fucking taking money.
Well, you've heard about the fucking midgets now on the Wizard of Oz. The Munchkins. You heard what they did behind the scenes. I think it has something to do with having to live life twice as fast because you're only half the size.
What did they do behind the scenes other than, lust after Judy Garland?
What are you serious?
I don't know much about the shenanigans that potentially took place.
You don't know about the shenanigans and the falderall?
No, but I just did read an article that I guess the hotel, I hate to call them midgets now, but the little people that were in the Wizard of Oz stayed in. I just read an article about that. But what did they do? Well, I got to hear about this debauchery.
Well, no, it's Hollywood legend in any of the Wizard of Oz books. I figured you being the pop culture king would know that the midgets the troupe of entertaining midgets, vaudeville performers and the like that were contracted to play the Munchkins were just the most outrageously drunken, sodomizing, fucking fornicating group of goddamn people. It was like the Aristocrats joke come to life. And they were finding them. They'd be in the sets. They'd be in the gutter of the goddamn, Munchkin land on the yellow brick road, drunk and, with their pants around their ankles. Or they'd be up in the fucking, buggering each other, the little things in the goddamn witch's castle or whatever. It was a train wreck.